Tom Clark's Main Event is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
This is Daddy's show. Step off.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and this is Tom Clark's Main Event. There he is. What's going on, folks? How's everybody doing out there today in pro wrestling land? We hope you and yours are doing well. We hope you're safe. Hope you're healthy. Hope you guys are doing freaking fantastic, man. It's good to see everybody coming along on board today. Again, hope you guys are doing great as I click the little hoo-haws here and get everything up and running. How's everybody doing out there? We've got a lot of our regulars on board already this morning. So Joshua Banks, what's up, my friend? Phil, Belinda, Mark, Danny, Shane. Shane, you enjoying some New Japan stuff, are you? It's pretty good, man. I'm enjoying it. So, yeah, Brad, hope you guys are doing good. Carlos, what's going on? Rebecca, what's up? So, welcome back to the show, man. This is episode number 182, as you can plainly see, as you can plainly read. And this time we got lots to talk about. This is the current state of the industry as we go live today on Friday, January. Wow. June 26, 2020. And, yeah, man, like I said before, tons to talk about today, tons to talk about. So, again, we hope you guys are doing well as we can continue to get people to show up and to hang out. If this is your first time watching the show today, my name is Tom. I have been a pro wrestling writer for 10 years this year. I've been doing the podcast here for 7 years. We've been here on the Wrestling Rumors Facebook page for, I don't know how long it's been now. I haven't actually counted. I'm wanting to say 2 years this year, I think. Does that sound right? I need to go look that up, man. I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. So, yeah, man, this is just our opportunity to talk about the goings on in pro wrestling. Most of the time, the Main Event podcast focuses on a specific topic, whether it's past, present, or future, and we spend the entire hour talking about that said topic. Today, we're going to do some current events, man. I want to bounce this thing back and forth sometimes, give you guys a chance to talk about the latest and breaking news happening in the world of pro wrestling. And with that, let's go ahead and hit the first one. We've already had some people talking about it right now. Tessa Blanchard fired by Impact Wrestling. To my knowledge, there are no sexual assault things going on with this. We'll get into that in a bit. There's no big controversy when it comes to anything like that. This is more or less about her commitment or lack thereof to that company. I don't know what all is going on behind closed doors. None of us do, unfortunately. That's just the nature of the beast when it comes to a pro wrestling company. A lot of these businesses, a lot of these companies will keep this stuff under their hat, keep it close to the vest. Impact has not been very forthcoming with a lot of this information. But from what we have understood, they asked for a promo for June. She didn't do it. I'm not going to say she's been difficult to work with, that she's been uncooperative. Some people would look at this and say that they've got no business letting her go in the midst of this pandemic. It's not fair. And by the way, folks, she was the world champion, the first female world champion of any major pro wrestling company in the history of this industry. That's a big claim. That's a big thing to hang your hat on, dude. And she no longer is the champion. It's a big, big deal. As I said before, there's no big controversy behind this as opposed to, what's going on in the world today. But this goes back to Tessa Blanchard, the person. And I will ask you folks right now today, what's your thoughts on this? What's your take on it? Because I'm interested to get some of your comments. Christopher, I will address your comment in just a second, my friend. Rebecca says, so will Tessa go to AEW or WWE? I got to be honest with you, Rebecca. I don't know who would take a chance on her at this point. This goes far beyond her not cutting a promo and not showing up for work. This goes far beyond that. The stories that broke about Tessa this year from other wrestlers all over the world, actually, who have been sharing stories about supposedly she's impossible backstage. She's made racial slurs and homophobic, that kind of thing behind the scenes. I don't want to get the story wrong, okay, folks, but she's been accused. Other wrestlers have supposedly verified that behavior. I think that all of that added together with the fact that she is apparently, like we said before, been uncooperative during the pandemic here. It may have given Impact Wrestling all they needed to give her the boot, as it were. So maybe that's what's going on. Let's see. Christopher says she dated Ricochet. He said her attitude is horrible. I remember hearing Ricochet on someone's podcast when he was still dating Tessa. Joe says thinks she is the best in-ring female performer. Tess is talented. I'm not going to take anything away from her. She's second generation, of course, the daughter of Tully Blanchard, one of the founders of the Four Horsemen. Absolutely talented. And I've said this on this show before, but I believe it bears repeating, so I'm going to repeat it. There's a reason why she has not worked for Vince McMahon. Okay, you can draw your own conclusions. I don't really care. It's totally up to you. There's a reason why she's not been a star in WWE at this point in the game, and I can't answer that. If you believe anything that she's ever said, she didn't want to rush it. She was happy with what she was doing. She had a lot of irons in the fire. She didn't want to go to WWE and make that her entire life. If you listen to other people's opinions, their opinions are that they wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole because of how she is. She's toxic. I'm not saying that, dude. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you some of the scuttlebutt that's been online for a long time. Shane says Tessa wanted to be released. She made more money in AEW, WWE. WWE needs her with Charlotte out until Royal Rumble. The point was made on Twitter, Shane, to your point. The point was made last night on Twitter that would AEW even touch her at this point? After they banned Hulk Hogan from events, they banned Hogan's ex-wife, Linda Hogan, for the stuff she said online. I mean, how does Tessa not deserve the same treatment based on what she has supposedly, reportedly, allegedly said? Dude, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, but I think I think everyone's right in their assessment that she could have a great career no matter what country she landed. No matter what company she landed in and country. Whether or not that will translate to big bucks for her and said company is anyone's guess. But yes, I do firmly believe that she could actually make an impact, no pun intended, anywhere she went. But, dude, Tessa Blanchard brings a lot of luggage with her. She got a lot of baggage, dude. So how do you guys feel about that? What's your take on it? Danny says, where does Tessa Blanchard land? Does she get a job with her dad? Again, man, the whole AEW thing, I don't know, man, because they have made a big to-do about what they do and don't want in their locker room. And here's my question to you. The ladies division in AEW went from interesting to blah to back to interesting again. So some could make the argument that division is on the way up. Do they need more talented women? Absolutely. Do they need Kelly Klein? Absolutely. I firmly believe Kelly Klein would be a fantastic addition to that roster, and I've said that for a long time. They could also make some other signings to bolster that division. Do they need Tessa? I don't know, man. For all we know, she'll be there next week. I don't have any idea. But I'll tell you this. It's a lot to deal with. This is not just, oh, she's a star, let's sign her. This is going to be great. There's a lot of other factors to consider, and they will have to consider them if they actually make this thing happen. Let's see. Hello, Thomas. What's going on? Kelly Klein, Christopher, is no longer with ROH, man. There's a whole big backstory to that. Will says, hey, back again after 30 days stay in the Facebook clink. What'd you do, Will? What'd you do? Who'd you tick off, man? What laws did you break? So, yeah, man, that's the latest on Tessa. We'll see how she responds to this, what she does, how moving forward, where she's going to end up. Robbie says, I think she needs to take some time to modify her views because in wrestling, you can't be racist, homophobic, then expect to work in a company where you have to be among diverse types of people. Therapy seems to be what she needs to deal with her issues. Brother, from your lips to the ears of God. So we will see. We will see what happens. David Ledford, what's up, bro? If this was Randy Orton, would we be having this conversation? That's a good question. Great question. David, I will tell you this. It's two different companies. David, I don't know if you've ever watched the show before here, man, but I've said this and I've repeated it numerous times and I'll continue to repeat it. When it comes to WWE, all bets are off. Common sense and logic are out the window. Sometimes it makes perfect sense. Other times the things they do, you're like, what? There's no telling with that company what the real truth to that question you just posed is. Is Randy still? Randy is second generation like Tessa. Randy's strong-headed, very opinionated, said and done a lot of heinous stuff in his time. He's still there, to your point. Does this happen if it were Randy? Probably not. Actually, to answer your question, no, it's not happened yet. Why would it happen now? Is that fair? Absolutely not. Why does it happen that way? Brother, that's WWE. That's at the end of the day, that's all you can say, man. That's like saying, why is the sky blue? Because it just is. I mean, I hate to say that, but that's just the truth. That's the fact of the matter. I don't like it. Please don't misunderstand me. It's not a cop-out, man. That's how that company is, man. That's how that company is. Let's see. Phil says, love or hate Randy. He is a natural at what he does. Phil, he is a natural. Let's everybody try to keep your language cleaned up if you don't mind, folks. We are on Wrestling Rumors Facebook page. Phil, I agree with you. He is a naturally talented guy. Absolutely. Shane, I love when do you know what I like about you, Shane? A lot of things, but when you throw up HVW in the discussion, I'm all about it. Would you sign Tessa to HVW given the option? I'd have to say no, and Gary would kill me if he heard me say that. Phil, it's all good, bro. No worries, Phil. All good. Hang out, man. Don't split. No, I wouldn't, because as the social media guy and as the right-hand man of the dude that owns the company, I would have to advise against it. She would have to get herself right. We were talking about sensitivity training classes. We were talking about anger management. We're talking about therapy, counseling. She would have to pass all the said above in order to get a gig. But that's just my opinion. Other companies won't see that because they got the payroll to afford her, and they'll think that she'll bring something to the company. So there you go. Christopher says, where are you at? There you are. Randy's a great natural heel, and they see money with him. There's money with Tessa too, Chris. I don't think that's the point. I think the point of that is to what Will said earlier. The point of that whole thing is that Randy still has his job. But again, my answer to that whole discussion is WWE. That's why he still has it, to be honest. So there you go. We don't have to spend all day on this. Just want to get your guys' take and tell me what you think about it. Let's go to the next thing if you guys want to. COVID-19 cases on the rise in the business, specifically in WWE. I don't think any of us are surprised by this. We freaking well shouldn't be. This thing, they never stopped. They are still recording. They're still doing their shows. And, evidently, or not evidently, but obviously at some point this thing was going to get real. They've been trying to cloud themselves from the real world for a long time because Vince lives in WWE land. And to him, there's no other land around. There's nothing else going on. The outside world doesn't exist for this dude. That's the truth. He lives talk about living in a bubble. He lives in a bubble for sure. He and his entire, I guess, family / come live in a bubble. But it's evident that this thing has gone far beyond any sense of logic and any sense of reality, this whole thing, as there are rumored to be upwards of 30 cases in that company right now. I don't know if that's true or not. They're not actually divulging information. Don't be surprised by that, folks. Don't let it shock you. It's WWE, baby. That's how they roll. Okay, that's how they do. Renee Young has it, which means Mox was kept off AEW Dynamite this past week. He's been directly exposed to it. Whether or not he will be on Dynamite at Fyter Fest, we will have to wait and see. Let's see. What's your thoughts on this whole thing about the COVID situation? This thing is not going away, folks. I don't want to. I don't want to make this political, and I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on this. But let me just say something to you right now, in all fairness. Anyone who believes that the mask does no good, folks, I'm sorry. Dude, you need to go get yourself checked. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about the people you come into contact with. It's not about maybe whether or not you'll get it. It's about the people you're coming in contact with. If you have it and don't know it, if you are carrying it and don't know it, you could potentially spread it to other people. So if you don't care about yourself, if you're all like, God will protect me, well, good luck, pal. I'm just saying, use your common sense. God gave it to you for a reason, didn't he? So use your common sense. Evidently, no common sense in WWE, as they weren't even allowing masks into the quote-unquote audience and didn't allow people to wear masks because Vince didn't want them on his TV. Phil says exactly just where the Phil, I'm in North Carolina as well, my friend, and I've heard all the, the expletives out there saying all kinds of wackadoodle stuff about it. Crazy. Shane says Mox took the COVID test and he passed it. Shane, that's true, but that doesn't mean anything, my friend. He would have to continue to pass it. He would have to pass it the day of the show, and it still doesn't mean anything. He could still have it by the next morning. This thing is not, unfortunately for all of us, man, this thing is not foolproof. Diane, what's up? Says wishing Renee a speedy recovery. Absolutely. I second that emotion. Brendan says it's a scary thing. I understand we need entertainment, but wrestling should be on hold to keep everyone safe. Elvis says Tom for president. Where'd you go, Elvis? There you are. Tom for president. Only if you're my vice president. That's the only way I'll have it. Vice President Martinez today. That's good stuff. Dave says a lot of these are independent contractors, lower cards, live check to check. Live check to check is hard for them to get government assistance. David, and to your point, here's what my next thing to say to that other point was going to be. You're not just talking about the in-ring talent. You're not just talking about the ring announcers and the commentators and the wrestlers and the ring crew. You are also talking about the cameraman. You're also talking about the backstage folks. You're also talking about personnel. You're also talking about truck drivers who haul the equipment, the rigs from city to city. You're talking about all those guys would be out of a job. Okay. All those people a lot of those people have families to feed, to support. And if they're sick, how are they going to have any income? How are they going to pay their medical bills? You got to think about all that stuff, man. You got to think about all that. This is when you talk about shutting down a business, whether it's the storefront business, whether it's like a brick and mortar establishment, or whether it's WWE or AEW, whoever it is, you're talking about putting a lot of people out of work. Okay. Not just the talent you see between the ropes. So keep that in mind. I understand where you're coming from on the point about we need entertainment, but we need to keep them safe. They agree with you, I'm sure, but they also got to make a living. You know what I mean? You cannot be a $1 billion company and pay your talent millions of dollars to sit at home and not produce. And not only that, with no television, with no money. I mean, WWE's got more money than God at this point. Could they do it? Sure, they could. But how long can they do it for is the question. And it's Vince McMahon we're talking about. How long will he do it? Period. Something to think about, man. Let's see. Alma says safety cut must come first before anything else. Use your head for common sense rather than a hat. Right. Well said. Jeff says I work almost every day cleaning shopping carts in my town. At least many wear gloves, masks. It's a good thing. A lot of other people aren't, unfortunately. Carlos says too many people infected in the company. Too many people infected in the company that can't wrestle, and their roster is getting low with some major. It's, just watch Raw and see who they have the focus on. No disrespect to the guys that are getting the spotlight. It's great for those guys to get the spotlight who weren't getting it 6 months ago. That's awesome. I have no quarrel with that. But, watch the product now versus what it was a year ago in terms of, storylines and stuff. And Raw, WWE doesn't change a whole lot from one day to the next. They continue to push the same stuff they've always pushed. They'll do the head-scratching angles and storylines, make you go, what's going on here? You know what I mean? So don't get too wrapped up in it. But yeah, it's messed up, man. I mean, we'll have to wait and see how all this plays out for sure. Dennis says, I hate the fact that wrestlers are being stripped of titles because of COVID-19, not to mention Roman Reigns kind of being ignored. They've all but erased that guy, haven't they? They've all but erased that guy. Crazy. Yes, Sal, absolutely. Yeah. I have a great friend, and a business associate and great friend on top of that. More importantly, Nathan Workman to thank for the Tom Clark's main event logo. So Nate, if you show up, thank you again, my friend. Shane says, in a way, it's not down to WWE. Still operating, the employees must take some responsibility, making sure they wear the correct safety equipment whilst outside. You're right about that, Shane. You're right. But at the same time, WWE is responsible for providing a safe working environment. And if they're not doing that, shame on them. So yeah, it's it's a bad state out there, man. It's getting messed up. So let's go ahead and go to the next topic. We're flying right through this show today, baby. You guys have touched on this already. A bunch of people are asking about it. This is the topic of the week, actually, besides the COVID situation. Wrestlers fired over the speaking out controversy. Let me preface this part of the show with this statement, okay? And I'll try not to make it too lengthy. If you sexually, verbally, physically assault anyone for any reason, especially when the reason is they're female and you're tougher and stronger than they are, and you know you can do this to them because they won't say anything, because they'll lose their spot, because you'll blackball them in the business, no matter what that business may be, you'll make trouble for them later. You are a wretched piece of garbage, and you deserve whatever happens to you. Okay. I believe in second chances to a certain degree, but if you do that kind of thing, that is not just a singular event in your life. That is something that you did, that you orchestrated, whether you meant to or not, and orchestrated and hid and covered up for years after the fact. Yeah, dude, I don't have very many positive things to say about you. Now, do we know if all the accusations are true? No, we do not know that. We have no idea if they're true. You don't know, and neither do I. When one guy has 17 allegations against him by 17 different women, yeah, there's probably some fire to that smoke, baby. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I don't. Ray, who said I don't like it? Ray, you said I don't like Adam Cole. Ray, who said that? Who said that? We're not talking about NXT right now, man. Hang on, bro. I don't dislike anyone. I do, but Adam Cole's not one of them. I met Adam Cole. He's a great guy, man. Got a picture taken with him and my kid, man. Great wrestler, too. I have no worries or issues with Adam Cole at all, man. Yeah, so the accusation part of this whole controversy, man, there's really no way to know what's going on, what the story is. You know why? Because you weren't in the shoes of any of these women. You weren't in their positions. You weren't bullied. You weren't disgraced. You weren't silenced. And you know, shame on anyone who does anything like that. And it's just giving the business a black eye, like we don't have enough black eyes in this business already. You know, over the years, steroid controversy, the Benoit thing, all this other stuff that's happened. And I'm not saying, oh, woe is me for pro wrestling fans, but man, doesn't it suck to be a fan of something sometimes that is just so mired in controversy? I've been going through this since I was a kid. When I was a kid, it was a lot simpler because the controversy then was, you know, it's fake, huh? You know, it's all fake, so stupid. And you're stupid for liking it. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, I had to keep it a secret that I was a pro wrestling fan, man, because people gave you so much crap about it. Who has 17 accusations, Christopher? Joey Ryan. It's upwards of 16, 17 women at this point. So, yeah. It's crazy that the guy who's a sexist pig and obsessed with his genitals and other people's genitals is the guy that was sexually assaulting women. Who would have thunk it? Now, to be fair, most guys who are close to this dude are acting like they're shocked, like they had no idea. The women, however, are saying he's always been like this. So evidently he did a fantastic job of covering it up. So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, man, it's bad. So, Marty Scurll's name is on that list. That kills me. Marty's been one of my kids' favorite wrestlers for a while now. Marty's so crazy talented, so good on the stick, such a great character. He might be done. The ROH is supposedly investigating. This thing might end with him out of the company. There's going to be a lot of wrestlers out of work looking for work, and a lot of them done by their own hand. And for them, I have no sympathy. It's the truth. I have sympathy for the companies who are having to make the tough calls because they're losing valuable talent. That sucks for them. It sucks for the other wrestlers too, because when you take out valuable talent who can draw in any normal situation, any normal environment, normal world, I should say, when you take out the stars that can draw, that lowers the money for everybody else as well. So that's a real, real big deal, man. So yeah. Sal says Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy segment was great. I enjoyed it as well. I think Chris is going to make this kid. He's going to make Cassidy. For real. You'll see Cassidy's best match to date against Jericho, no doubt about it. So, yeah, man, it's getting bad out there. It's been bad for a while. No sense in turning a blind eye to it. Something we can't talk about. It's something that needs attention. And again, folks, here's what I'm going to tell you for sure. Any of the ladies watching today, if anything has happened to you, even close, remotely close to this, please speak out. Make your voices heard, man. Speak up and you know, think about this. If you've chosen to remain silent for fear of retaliation in any way, shape, or form, just think about this. The person that you're staying silent about may be doing this to somebody else. So, you know what I mean? Now's the time to speak out. I'm just calling it like I see it. Shane says, where are you, Shane? I'll find you. There he is. In the UK, the Knight family have been accused of bullying young talent physically and mentally, and in some cases sexually. Sarah Knight has retired from in-ring as well recently. Paige has yet to make any comment on it all, so don't know if it's true or false accusations. They've been running that school for years. Been running that promotion for years, for sure. It'd be interesting to see how it shakes out, man. But yeah, shame on them. And you know what? For not for nothing, but it's, at this point, we're talking about, arrests. We're talking about indictments. We're talking about trial by jury. What's up, son?
Hi.
You know when you were like messaging me, I'm doing the show, right?
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot.
Wait, who's with you?
Daniel Jade.
Okay. Don't tear apart my house, please.
We're just staying downstairs.
Okay. Did you say hey to everyone?
Yeah.
Come here, say hey. It's the boy. Come over here. They can't see. All right, wow. That's my kid. And check, Todd told you he was a Skrull fan. Check the shirt. There you go, man. All right, Robbie, I'm going to throw you back up here, brother. Any woman anywhere in any career should be treated with the utmost respect. I've never in my life referred to any woman with the B word. Don't like when women say it to each other. My mother was a wonderful example, as well as my sister. The reason women should be respected. My younger sister kept bullies away from me in high school. Shame on any man for disrespecting women. Couldn't agree more, my friend. Everyone's saying hey to the boy. Thank you, guys. Did you hear my DOG clickety-clacking around? And now he's back on the futon. That's him. So, interruptions. What's up, Victor? What's going on, guys? All right. So, opinion on Sasha and Sammy. Well, it goes back to the same thing. Sammy was an idiot in 2016, said something asinine about Sasha Banks, was a complete buffoon, had no business saying it. I don't want to hear that he's immature. I was his age and would never have spoke like that, dude. I mean, shut up. Immature. Don't give people a pass, okay? Giving someone a pass means you absolve them of any and all responsibility, and that's not the right thing to do. You got to hold people accountable, dude. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. Keith says the independent promotions will get hit the hardest over this. WWE is a multi-billion-dollar company and will survive. Maybe it will help them creatively because they may value talent more. Keith, I would love if the last part of that statement was true. The whole first half, I'm all about it, and I'm totally with you. The last sentence, we'll see. Fingers crossed, my man. We will see. All right? I have no idea if you're right. Hope you are. Don't know. We don't know if they value anybody at this point. I'm just saying. Carlos says, why is this coming out now? Talking about Sasha and Sammy. Because it's that time. Because the hashtag is coming out. And women are feeling empowered, for lack of a better term, to come out and talk about their experience, what's happened to them. And, someone dug this audio up from this podcast he did in 2016 and said, well, this shouldn't stand. And guess what? It shouldn't stand. It absolutely should not stand. Did you have to know, whatever you say in public, if you will, online or wherever, that stuff's not going away. Somebody's going to hear it or read it. If you're online, it's never going away, right? It's going to be there forever. Okay. So be careful. Just be careful. Don't be a friggin' idiot. That's the moral of the story here. Don't be a friggin' idiot. So I have spoken. Any Mandalorian fans out there? Where's my Mandalorian fans at? All right, folks, let's go ahead and hit on this next topic. AEW Fyter Fest. Let's go ahead. As we all know, this is going to be on TNT. It's going to be a 2-week event. The first night coming July 1st. The second night coming on July 8th. The first night on July 1st, Kenny Omega and Adam Page versus Best Friends. Tag team match for AEW World Tag Team Championship. Cody with Arn Anderson versus Jake Hager for the AEW TNT Championship. We also have Hikaru Shida versus Penelope Ford with Kip Sabian. Singles match for the AEW Women's World Championship. The Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus with Marco Stunt versus MJF and Wardlow in a tag team match. Another tag team match, Private Party, who, of course, are Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn with Matt Hardy versus Santana and Ortiz of Proud and Powerful, also of the Inner Circle. That's July 1st. July 8th features Jon Moxley defending the AEW World Championship against Brian Cage. Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy. We've also got Lance Archer with Jake Roberts versus Joey Janela. Nyla Rose versus we don't know who at this point. They haven't announced it. Colt Cabana, The Dark Order, Brody Lee, and Stu Grayson versus SoCal Uncensored, of course, who is Chris Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky. We also have FTR and the Young Bucks against the Butcher, the Blade, and the Lucha Bros. Dude, that is a stacked card. That's a stacked 2-night event. Now, we don't know if everyone's going to be healthy enough to actually be there. I hope they are. I'll be honest with you. In my humble opinion, I actually believe at this point that we're talking about Mox, and I don't have any backstage information for you on this. No real secrets going on here. Nothing I've uncovered through sources or anything like that. Mox may not be there. I mean, you have to think about the safety of the competitors. Let's say he tests negative for COVID that day and all is well and everything's fine. No fever. He feels great. Everything's all good. But let's say that he has this match and by the next day he has it. Now, I will put it to you this way. I can't say for sure that the match hasn't already been taped because I don't know. I've not gone to great lengths to actually find that out. If it has been taped already, then they should be in the clear. But if not, maybe not. They got to do the right thing here. I don't believe in taking the belt off of him. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll find out here. Shannon, what's up? I didn't miss you saying hi if you showed up. I hope best friends win. I think Heyman and Omega are better as singles competitors. I'll tell you this, though. They make for a compelling tag team. I was with you 100% to begin with, but the more I see them together, the more I enjoy their work together, and I think they're starting to gel. I don't know if it'd be the right time to split them up. I'd be okay with it. Carlos says, I heard the Moxley match is canceled. I haven't heard anything like that, but it's entirely possible. Listen, you guys aren't going anywhere, are you? So let's go ahead and look that sucker up and see if you're right. This musical interlude brought to you by Tom Clark's Main Event. There's nothing so far. About Mox. In 1 hour ago, the AEW Twitter account said, "Can Jon Moxley stop the path of Cage? The AEW World Championship is on the line between the champion Mox and challenger Brian Cage on night 2 of Fyter Fest on July 8th for free on TNT Drama." So there's nothing there about it being canceled. I'm not saying, excuse me, that you ultimately be wrong. You may end up being right. But as of right now, it has not been canceled. Pardon me. It's so rude, isn't it? Delicious. Let's see. Are those little pop figurines behind you? Yes, sir, Phil. That's my pop collection. So, yeah, I'm up to, I forget how many I'm up to, and collecting more and more every day. Let's see. Did the Revival file a police report after Butcher and Blade GTA the right? Maybe that would have been cool, right? They would have been arrested for that. They can always say that they did. And then actually didn't do it. If you file a false police report, that's kind of a big deal. Alan says, when, not if, do you see Arn turn on Cody? An evil Arn stable would push young heels big time in AEW. So, we all saw MJF's heel turn coming, yes? We all knew it was going to come. They milked it for a good long time and actually got people to start buying into, well, maybe he's not going to turn. Then, boom, he turns. And we kind of all knew it was going to happen. I think we all assumed that that Arn will eventually turn on Cody. Okay? I think we all know that's going to happen at some point. But my question to you is, what if Cody turns on Arn first? It would make more sense what you're saying, though, man, that Arn would assemble a stable of stars, and Arn would. He's spoken highly of Shawn Spears, right? So maybe he will turn on Cody at some point. Shawn could get a championship, and they'll go from there. He's also spoke highly of Cage. So we'll see what happens. But it's going to be interesting to check out, man. I would love to see Arn at the head of a stable. That kind of thing's been talked about for years, man. No doubt about it. It's been talked about for years in terms of why wouldn't you have a founding member of the Four Horsemen and be the leader of another faction similar to the Four Horsemen? So, yeah. Carlos says it was on Facebook. Carlos, was it on AEW's Facebook? Is that where you saw that? Because, brother, if it's not on an official account, I wouldn't trust anything until you see it officially. All right? But it's all right, brother. We'll check it while we're here. And we'll see what we got. And there we go. All Elite Wrestling. Bear with us, folks. We want to look this up. We want to give you the correct information. All right. Come on, baby. Give me something. Let's see. No, there's nothing. Dude, don't trust anything until you see it on the company's specific social media. The news that you heard could very well be right, but then again, it very well could not be right. Only trust the actual source. Honestly, I'm just saying. Shane says, I'd love to see Cowboy James Storm show up at AEW's Fyter Fest and blast Hangman Page with the beer ball and cost him and Omega the tag team belts. Boy, I like that. I'm liking the crap out of that. But dude, that would be fun to see, man. Talk about a great match, him and Page. That'd be fun, dude, for sure. No doubt about it. James says, joining late. Hello, James. No worries, man. Thanks for hanging out. Elvis is asking what part of I don't live in the UK, brother. Who are you talking to, Elvis? Not me, my friend. Let's see. David says, I just read Tessa wasn't fired, but contract was up and mutually parted ways. Does that sway a company decision on hiring her? No, I think what would sway a company's decision on hiring her is the fact that she's got a controversial history, that there's been a lot of stuff come out about her the past 2 years that are not very positive about the kind of person she is, the kind of talent she is, the kind of belief system she has or doesn't have, and the way she gets along with talent backstage and how she's difficult to work with. That's what's going to stop her from potentially getting a job. Not if she is fired or not. I mean, depending on what she's fired over, right? And supposedly she wasn't, but that thing where it's like we've mutually, dude, the way they word things to some of these companies, man, it's highly suspect in my humble opinion. You can only take people at face value for what it's worth. If that's what they're saying to us, I guess that's the way we have to roll. So we'll see what happens, man. Shannon says, if the Mox cage match happens, do we see the Darby Allin try to interfere? Absolutely. Why not? Absolutely. I like Darby. Darby's grown on me. I wasn't very high on this kid at first, mostly because he weighs like 40 pounds, soaking wet with a brick in his pocket. I kind of have an issue with that. I'm trying to get over that, man. I'm still old school. I'm not so old school that I sit here and hate on the new product and the new companies, the new talent, because I'm not Cornette by any means, but I am old school. But I've had to let go of some of my hangups, and one of the hangups has been Orange Cat, not Orange Cat. Well, Orange Cassidy is lightweight too, but Marco Stunt, Darby Allin, painfully thin. I mean, I don't know, man. Let's see. Sal says AEW now has some big men was being too criticized early on for being too small. Absolutely, Sal. Great point. I did a AEW Dynamite results show this past Wednesday night right after the show went off the air on Wrestling Rumors Facebook page here. And I actually talked about that very thing about how AEW is getting bigger. And they needed to, and now they are. And I think that's good. That was one of the piece of the puzzle they really needed. Now, since we're on AEW, I will go all the way back and rewind to I think it was Chris that brought this up, that there's some kind of story going around that if AEW doesn't get more material, more things recorded, more things taped, and get some things happening, they're going to go out of business. Folks, let me just tell you something right now, okay? Coming from a guy who's been writing for pro wrestling sites for nearly 10 years now, I will assure you of one thing. We can try to break so-called breaking news all day long. I can give you my opinions on said breaking news. I can give you my predictions of what could happen tomorrow in these companies, all right, all day long and twice on Sunday. But the fact of the matter is, you won't know it till it happens, folks. You believe it when you see it, okay? That's why I don't write anything as if it's set in stone. I will source everything I write, and I will try to back it up with as many facts as possible. And I will use different lingo, different language in my writing in terms of supposedly this has happened. We don't know yet. And if that's true, here's what I think. Okay. So that's what you have to take this stuff with a grain of salt. Now, for all I know, AEW could close its doors tomorrow. Weirder things, stranger things have happened, folks. You know that, and I know that as well. But be level-headed. Use your common sense. These guys have more money than God. They've got more money than Vince does. It's the truth. It's the truth, man. But are they going to hang on to a business venture that's failing and losing money? Absolutely not. Any successful businessman is successful for a reason, because he knows how to invest, he knows how to handle his money and handle the profits from the businesses that he either creates or buys or develops, and all of the above. So, again, please take it with a grain of salt until you know more. I don't want it to happen either, Carlos. Absolutely not. I think it'd be a bad... Dude, I don't want Impact to go out of business. Impact's hard to watch, man. You want to tell me about a pro wrestling company that's hard to watch on TV? Try Impact on for size. Hoy vey. Completely hard to watch, man. I'm not even kidding about that. I can't hardly do it anymore. But, do I want to see them go out of business? Absolutely not. They don't deserve that. They've been around for way too long, and they've weathered the storm for so many years. I hope they continue to weather the storm. So, Alan says, would you like to see 6-man tag team titles created in AEW? Absolutely. These days, it's about they nicknamed the Trios Championships. I don't know if that term got its start in Mexico or if it got its start in Lucha Underground. I love the name. I don't know why they don't just call it 6-man tag team titles like the old school days. But if anybody would do it, it's AEW for sure. Because the newer companies would use the word trios or triple threat tag team. I don't know, something like that. Shane says, Tom, you need to do more AEW post shows. It was great. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I was going to do it for an hour, but I was just a little tired that night. I didn't want to stay up all night and keep you guys occupied and let everybody get your rest, man. Christopher says, very hard to watch. Talking about Impact, I agree with you totally. Totally. Yeah, Phil says, I guess I got to start watching. Phil, here's what I tell you, my friend. Go to AEW with an open mind, Phil. And if you're an old school fan, prepare yourself to see things that you don't maybe agree with too much, but try to keep perspective. Okay. It's 2020, dude. It's a different day. It's a different era. It's a different time in this industry. You got to keep that in mind. These are not the same talents that maybe you grew up watching like I did, like Arn and Tully and Rick and the LOD. And, you can't do that, man. Like you have to keep in mind that this, again, it's a new era, new way of thinking, new mindset for a lot of these kids. So let's keep that in mind. And if you can go into it with an open mind, I think you'd enjoy it. There's enough old school stuff in AEW to keep you happy for sure. I promise you that. There are some old school gimmicks, Phil. Cody's got a great old school gimmick. Arn's there. Tully's there. Sean Spears has got a good gimmick. Sean Spears is an old school kind of guy himself. Dustin Rhodes is there. Kenny Omega, as flashy as he is, and I don't agree with a lot of his in-ring style because he's a little goofball, if you ask me, a little too theatrical. Dude's got a great body. He can work. He can. There's a lot of sizzle in that company, dude. Just get ready for a lot of sizzle. But there is some steak there too. That's a good thing. Alicia, what's up? My only complaint about AEW is the weak women's division is lacking something. No doubt about it. I'll agree with you totally. Shane says, I heard a rumor Impact was going to bring back. I loved Aces and Eights, man. They didn't handle it correctly because they dropped the ball. But yeah, I agree. I'd love to see them back. It depends on who they put in the group, but I think it'd be interesting. Victor says Mexico's had trios championships forever. All right, cool. Thanks, Vic. Carl, not the Carl Anderson, another Carl Anderson. Carl, we covered that at the top of the show, my friend, about Tessa. Feel free to watch the replay, my man, if you will. That'd be cool. Oh, yeah, Shannon bringing the knowledge. Phil, watch NJPW if you don't already. Take Shannon's advice. If you want, thank you, Shannon, for that. Dude, shut up. That was good. If you want some true old school pro wrestling thrown in with the modern day stuff, you have got to check out New Japan, dude. They do old school NWA better than anyone else around right now, and that's the truth. Good old fashioned grudge matches, hardcore smash mouth in your face, never letting up, relentless action. Not a lot of promos in that company because, number one, 99% of the promos in that company are Japanese. But number two, they don't need to. No backstage vignettes, none of that nonsense horse crap, dude. It's just all action. If you want pro wrestling in terms of old school action, dude, that's who you should be checking out. Shannon, good call. Dennis says, like the fact of a submission championship. That'd be interesting, man. I'd like to see that. So yeah, if anybody would do it, it would be AEW, I would think. Although they seem to have a lot of titles right now for sure. Let's see. Jamil says, I've been entertained every week with AEW. Same here. Some shows have been better than others, but yeah. Chris says Bronson Reed is a beast. He's absolutely love Bronson. No doubt about it, man. Well, listen, we've been going about 45 minutes. We got about 15 left. I wanted to do something a little bit different with this show today. Something maybe we've not done before. Actually, something we've definitely not done before. I wanted to do some discuss topics, and these are going to be fun. At least I hope you think they're fun. So here's your first one, and it's going to smack you straight in the face. You ready? Cameron Grimes is the best thing that's happened to NXT since Triple H. Discuss. Hit me. What do you think? Have I lost my mind? What's your opinion on that? I love Cameron Grimes. I think he's everything NXT should be and more. Somebody hit me. What's your take on that? Cameron Grimes is the best thing to happen to NXT since Triple H. I'm sorry. I stand by that. I totally stand by that, dude. 100%. I'm serious. I love this guy. He's fun. He's entertaining. And you know what? When he's in character and he's doing that, let me tell you something. He was faking that injury. His laugh is phony. He's phony. Do you want to know why? Because he's the phoniest heel you've ever seen. Even he doesn't believe what he's saying. But it's not Cameron the man. It's Cameron the character. Even he doesn't buy it. You see what I'm saying? Because it's almost like I got to give these idiots lip service because that's who I'm supposed to be. But talk about grasping your character. And by the way, he doesn't look like a pro wrestler. Neither did Daniel Bryan. Neither did CM Punk. Okay. I'm not saying Cameron will get to that level. Please don't misunderstand me. But dude, Cameron could have shaved his chest. He could have, you know what I'm saying? He could have cut the beard, trimmed the beard, the hair. He didn't. He's like, look, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. And they said, we're taking it, man. I love it. I love it, man. I love this guy. He's awesome. So yeah, Shannon says his character is great. I totally agree. Totally agree. Ray is a huge Adam Cole fan. Dude, you guys better know that right now. Ray's a huge, and I am too. I love Adam Cole. I do, man. Steen says Grimes reminds me of Seth Rollins. I'll take that. Sure. Yeah, I'll take that. So Seth as a heel will put more intensity behind his stuff, especially now. Even when he was the cocky heel after he turned on the Shield, he still put a lot of intensity into his movements, into his promos and all that stuff. Grimes doesn't do that because he's that heel you legit want to slap. Like, you wouldn't try to slap Seth Rollins, would you? Be honest. You wouldn't try because you know he could kill you. He can take your head off. I mean, he's very good. He is. You probably wouldn't slap Seth. You'd want to slap Cameron Grimes. You'd probably try. Because you look at him and go, God, just stop with the talking. Stop with the lying and stop with the nonsense. I love that stuff, man. Dennis says, I've seen Grimes on Impact and was the reason I watched the show. I hate Triple H, so I'm with you on Grimes. Dennis is not a Triple H fan. So, Jamil says, every time I watch him, I'm surprised. You're talking about Grimes, yes? Yeah, that's good stuff. Jason, are you referring to Triple H as trash? No, that's a guy that would slap you back for sure. He'd give you one maybe. So that's your discussion. All right, I got a second discussion topic. You guys might like this one a little bit better. You ready? The Last Ride documentary has ruined The Undertaker's mystique. Discuss. What do you guys think about that? Did The Last Ride documentary, which just recently ended, with The Undertaker's surprising announcement that he's done, the match that he had, the recorded match, the theatrical cinematic match with AJ Styles, the Boneyard match, was his last one, okay, ever, supposedly. Did The Last Ride documentary ruin his mystique and his character? Was it already ruined? What are you thinking about, man? Shane disagreed with me on the Cameron Grimes. Let's say Cameron Grimes is hot garbage. I disagree, my friend. Christopher says, yes, it did. James says, honestly, I don't believe you can ruin The Undertaker's mystique. I don't think The Last Ride did him any harm. James, I respect your opinion. My opinion is that it did. I didn't need to see it. I don't know why they felt the need to strip down everything the guy had left at the very end. If you knew that the show was going to end with his retirement, if you knew that's how it was going to end, okay? And if they didn't know, they knew in the editing process, why in the world would you go out of your way to make him look like a broken down old man? Tommy is a broken down old man. But do you want to look like that? Is that what you want your lasting legacy to be, was that you announce your retirement on a documentary that makes you look like a broken down old man? Clint Eastwood was in better shape than him right now. I'm sorry. It's nothing personal against Taker. I love Taker. I always have. But dude, and Taker didn't do this. I mean, they turned the cameras on and said, just talk, pal. Say anything you want. I mean, Taker always protected his character. WWE always protected his character. Those days are over. I mean, they let AJ come out, run him down, say he's a broken down old man, that Michelle McCool was ruining him and going to put him in the ground and all this other stuff. Yikes. Let's see. Taker said, or I'm sorry, Ray says, I think Taker's done. I wish he would have lost it. Taker is done for sure. Shane says, to me, Undertaker's been retired for years now. Shane, interesting point, my friend. I can't discount what you just said for sure. For sure. It's wacky, man. I have a lot of feelings about Taker, man. I got a lot of respect for the guy, everything he's accomplished. But at the same time, he held on too long. Yes. Is it his call? Yes. But I will say this to you in all fairness. Flair was told, you're done. This wasn't Flair going to Vince saying, I'm done. Vince went to Flair and said, you're done. It's time. Okay? They didn't go to Taker and say that. Now, listen, I'm sorry. I know it's two different things. It's two different guys. But you can't tell me the match that Flair had with Shawn and Flair's retirement match was bad. It was not bad. Flair gave you the classic Ric Flair, dude. He totally did. I think he still had a little bit of time left in him. I don't know how much. But shouldn't that have been his call? Well, they didn't give him the luxury. They ended it for him. I'm just saying. Okay? You can take that or leave it. Let's see. Worst thing they did was mention his real name. Everybody knows that anyway, but this documentary started years ago. Didn't say it. Well, good point. Good point. Yeah. Jamil says, I've never liked watching old men fight, but to have it end like that sucked. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Carlos says, I think he may, I heard he may work backstage for the B. I think they'd be crazy to not use him in some capacity. I think he's earned a spot to be working with the guys, the talent backstage. Just imagine being a big man coming up at WWE and having Undertaker as one of your mentors. Shut up. Shannon says, actually, I haven't watched it yet. Kept seeing everyone comment on it, so I decided not to watch it. Shannon, my inclination is to tell you to watch it, to give it a chance to decide for yourself. The other part of me who respects you as a fan of both my podcasts would tell you this. Don't waste your time, because it's going to take it takes how weak he looked after losing to Goldberg and expands it for how many episodes were there? 4 or 5, I think. For 4 straight hours of this, he was a broken down old man. Like, hoy. You know what I mean? Like, if you can stomach it, go with God. If you can't, maybe not. Maybe not. Taker had a great career. Shane says, quit kicking up the dust. Where are you, Shane? There you are. And let his career RIP. Well, I'm trying to get you on the thing here, my friend. I've lost you. My apologies. Shane, I lost you, brother. My bad. What'd you think about Raw last Monday? James says. James, can tell you, brother, I didn't watch all of it. I'm just being straight with you, man. There's a reason why I don't do a Raw review show. Cameron Grimes versus Baron Corbin. Tom, there's your main event. As long as Grimes goes over, and as long as it's quick, I'm down. Because I don't want to see Baron Corbin in the ring. Jason says, yes, I agree, but I hate that you're trashing The Undertaker. Give it. Jason, can I ask you a question, bro? Why do you always have to have heat with me? This is not the first time that you've said something weird like this. I don't understand why it's got to be like that. Am I trashing Undertaker? Did I say he's worthless? Get him out of the ring. He's ridiculous? No, I'm calling it like I see it. He is a broken down old man. You know who else would tell you that? Probably Taker. Does that mean I'm trashing him? I just said I got a lot of respect for him. Stop trying to have heat with me, Jason. It's weird, man. It's odd. I don't have heat with you, bro. No one's trashing anybody. My question was, did WWE ruin his mystique and his character? Tom didn't do that. Vince did that. My answer is yes. My opinion. You don't have to go with that. You don't have to buy that. That's totally up to you, man. Steve says Undertaker's no doubt Hall of Famer, and I would like to see Hogan Undertaker final WrestleMania. Ooh. Steve. Oh. Hogan versus Taker. Ooh. In 2021, in 2020, no. Okay, it'll. I mean, dude. Evidently, no one likes the term "broken down old man," but holy cow, dude! No, I have no desire to see that match at all. That's no, I have no desire to see that. You go with God on that. That's your opinion, my friend. I won't crap on it, but no, I'm just, oh boy, no. Let's see. Shane says Taker did more or less say he was a broken down old man during the documentary. Thank you, Shane. Thank you. Yeah, dude, if you guys believe that, go with God. I'm not trying to. How about that? I think I had one more here for you, and we'll take it home today. The Inner Circle is a better faction than the Undisputed Era. Discuss. That's my move. Hoo-yah. There you go. So what do you think? Is the Inner Circle a better faction right now than the Undisputed Era? I will tell you this. In terms of being more entertaining, if you're talking about the more entertaining faction, then my vote by far is with the Inner Circle. That's just me because they got Jericho. I think they're more entertaining. If you're talking about best, what the kids call it, the work rate will kill you, Tom. Right? Then I think that could be up for grabs because Cole and those guys are fantastic in the ring, no doubt about it. But as far as Inner Circle goes, you do still have Jericho, Sammy, who's very talented, Jake, who's a beast. Proud and Powerful is one of the best tag teams in the business right now and has been for years. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Ray, we all know, is an Adam Cole fan. He's made that abundantly clear. He said, no way, Adam Cole, baby. So, Jamil says, yes, but I'm biased because of Jericho. Timothy votes Inner Circle. There you go. To me, Inner Circle, in my humble opinion, Inner Circle is a better faction right now than Undisputed Era. Now, it depends. It's all subjective. Everything, all these discussed topics, man, are just subjective. It's just your own opinion. It's based on your own emotions and your own opinions on all this stuff. It's just in all how you view it, man. What you're looking for in a pro wrestler, in a pro wrestling match, is totally up to you, man. No one can tell you what to think or what to say or how to feel. It's totally up to you, all right? But in my opinion, the way I look at it, from where I'm sitting, I do think they're better in terms of overall entertainment value. That's just me talking, though. So a lot of people give Jericho a hard time because he's up in years and because they say, well, he's not the guy he used to be. None of us are the guys that we used to be. Can we be honest? We're all only just getting older, for sure. Ms. Lopez, what's up? The Undisputed Era are great workers. Can't argue with that at all. Ray says, when will Sammy be back? Brother, I can't tell you that. He's going to go through sensitivity training. And when he has completed everything to AEW satisfaction, he will be back on TV, I assume. But I have no timetable for you. It's June. It could be the end of the year before we see him back. I don't know that for sure, but that's just me. That's just me talking. Brandon says, with Sammy gone, Inner Circle takes a big hit. It's a good point. It's a good point, especially in this conversation. Shane says, after what he said, he shouldn't be back at all. Shane, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm not going to argue that. What he said was heinous. It was atrocious. Supposedly he called Sasha and he apologized. She accepted his apology. She was the one he said it about. It doesn't absolve him from any responsibility. As a man, I've heard worse, if I'm being honest. And I know what you're thinking. What kind of friends do you have? It's not like that. I've been in pro wrestling locker rooms a lot over the years, and I've been around the guys, as it were, and I've heard all kinds of wackadoodle stuff. I've not said those kind of things, but I've definitely heard them. So, I absolve him of no responsibility. If AEW lets him go, I completely understand. I wouldn't bash them at all for that. I could totally get it. If you're trying to compare to what's going on with the rest of the talents that are being released right now for actually physical sexual assault, I don't know. I'm not a woman, so I can't tell you how to feel about that. But it's an interesting thing for sure. Do I think he should lose his job? It's not really my call. If he doesn't, I would not be surprised. If he does, I would not be surprised either. So Alma says, Cody, a new member of Inner Circle, maybe. If Cody joins the Inner Circle, Alma, he takes it over. He won't be just a member. Remember we joined the Bullet Club? He ended up taking it over? Yeah. So there you go. Alan says, Undertaker at WrestleMania Hall of Fame, 2021 headliner at WrestleMania on stage. Lights go out. And Bray Wyatt as the Fiend attacks him with the Druids, carry him off stage. Alan, here's the deal, man. 9 times out of 10, they keep the Hall of Fame. They keep the Hall of Fame as a shoot. So I don't think you're going to see anything like that. Now, if there's still no live crowds and they're doing this in an empty arena, I guess anything could happen. To your point, if that's where your mind is right now, then I agree with that. Maybe there's something like that could happen. I don't know. Shane says, do you see Sasha winning the Raw title? Sure, why not? Why not, man? Bayley's got the SmackDown Championship too, right? Ray, thank you, my man. I appreciate that. Folks, we have been going for an hour today. We usually go an hour on the show. We're going to go ahead and take it home. I want to thank everybody for watching the show today. I want to remind you that Tom Cart's Main Event has a Patreon page. Please go check it out. Got some great exclusive content on there for you if you're so interested, if you're so inclined. It won't break the bank for you. I promise you that. We also have Tom Cart's Main Event on Facebook. Please go check it out as well. Please, as always, stay tuned to Wrestling Rumors for the latest and greatest from the world of professional wrestling. Much thanks to Heidi Ryan, the whole crew at Wrestling Rumors, for giving us this platform. We do greatly appreciate it. I think that's all I got for you folks this time around. I'm so glad you guys joined us. Glad you guys checked us out. Thanks for always commenting, for showing up, giving us your questions, comments, words of wisdom. I do very much appreciate it. I'm going to get out of here, man. This is all I got for you. Please have a great week. Be safe, be smart, take care of yourselves, take care of your family. You guys go out there, watch some pro wrestling, watch some old classic matches. We're getting out of here. Tell them goodbye.
Bye.
That's all you got? And facial features. That's great.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That's it for us, man. We're getting out of here. So let's hit those credits, or let's hit that outro, and let's take it home, shall we? There it is. There's those credits, man. We're getting out of here. We'll see you next time. Tom Clark's Main Event.